The 2020 NFL Draft brought some big-time talent to the NFL level. But for these teams that have been getting major production out of their 2020 draft stars, it has cost them very little money so far. That's about to change this offseason though, because some of these guys are going to get paid. Moving forward on my series of the top 5 offseason storylines to watch this year is going to be the 2020 draft class and some huge extensions coming up. This offseason marks the first opportunity that teams are allowed to start negotiating contract extensions for anybody that was drafted in 2020. And for those first round picks, 5th-year options are going to be coming up soon. But this draft was absolutely loaded with talent, especially at the quarterback position. It's quite simple. When you've got quarterbacks that you've got to pay record-breaking contracts to, it is going to potentially hamper how many guys around them can be paid. You may have heard it over the last couple of years. Teams have really started to look at how do we draft a quarterback and put together a winning talent to pay people around him while he's not getting paid nearly as much. Some people think that's the secret sauce to success at the NFL level. Pay your rookie quarterbacks rookie wages, pay everybody else around them big time money. But then you've got Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowls still. So what players are most likely to get paid this offseason? I've got a few of them. Let's kick it off with quarterbacks. It was a foregone conclusion that Joe Burrow was going to get paid this offseason. After a trip to the Super Bowl last year and winning another division title, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the up and up. And then Jalen Hurts, his MVP-like performance out of nowhere and a trip to the Super Bowl this year is going to be guaranteeing him a fat contract extension as well. But what about the two other guys? Justin Herbert, he has played well so far to begin his career. And then Tua was injury riddled, had issues, he's had concussions, but when he was healthy last year, he finally showed some of that upside that we saw coming into the draft. Is he gonna get paid? No offense to Jalen Hurts. He's had one humongous year, but Joe Burrow has had back-to-back consistent years now and is the face of that franchise. I think Joe Burrow probably gets the largest extension, and his could look a lot like what Josh Allen got a couple of years ago. Allen signed a 6-year, $258 million contract. If we're looking at a good comparison for Joe Burrow, it's got to be what Josh Allen got paid. For Jalen Hurts, I think it's going to end up being pretty darn close as well. But his comp for me would be the Kyler Murray contract that was signed last offseason, where he got paid $230 million over 5 years. Potentially a year shorter with a little bit less in the money as well. As far as guaranteed money, I could see Joe Burrow coming out with more guaranteed money than Jalen Hurts. Justin Herbert's comp for me is going to be Dak Prescott's 4-year, $160 million contract. Now, Dak Prescott was a little bit older when he signed that deal, so as far as the years go, I could see Justin Herbert getting more on the years and maybe still the same annual value, so you see that bump closer to maybe the 200 range. And for Tua, at this point, I don't think a contract extension quite happens yet. If it does, it's shorter, and the money's going to be a little bit less than what we've seen from these other guys based on purely the concussions that we've seen. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do go another year, even pick up maybe his 5th-year option, and then go from there in terms of potentially giving him an extension after. With the quarterbacks being out of the way now, there's a few wide receivers that are also going to be in line for a nice payday. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and T. Higgins, all 3 of these guys could be looking at nice extensions this offseason. Let's talk about Justin Jefferson first, and if I had to comp a deal for him, it would be A.J. Brown's 4-year, $100 million deal he signed after being traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. As good as A.J. Brown has been, Justin Jefferson has been much better. I wouldn't be surprised if we still see the same amount of years, but we see this contract tick up into the 120 or $130 million area. For CeeDee Lamb, I could definitely see a contract extension this year, but they've got a lot other things that they need to worry about right now, including trying to beef up some of the defense still, and you're going to have to bring in some guys this offseason to help complement this team. Tony Pollard is going to be a big question mark. Ezekiel Elliott, you're paying way too much money to right now. You had to trade Amari Cooper because you were paying Zeke way too much money. And then, of course, I already mentioned it, Dak's got a hefty contract as well right now. CeeDee Lamb's time is coming, but I don't know if it happens this season or not. T. Higgins is definitely an interesting one because there has been talk that Cincinnati could end up trading him. The good thing about T. Higgins right now is that you've got a little bit of wiggle room to do either or. Yes, you are going to be paying Joe Burrow a big time contract coming up. We just talked about it. But for T. Higgins, you've got a guy across from him in Jamar Chase that is still going to be a few years away from getting paid big money. So if you were to front load that contract for T. Higgins and make it a little bit bigger on the front end and then less huge down on the backside, then you could either A, trade T. Higgins when Jamar Chase comes due for his big deal, or if the money still isn't that bad, keep him around. Another reason CeeDee Lamb may not get paid this year is because there's another Cowboy that's due for a big extension as well. The one guy on the defensive side I want to talk about is Stefon Diggs. Diggs, you either love him or you hate him. Cowboys fans think I hate him, but that just isn't true at all. I'm being honest, the dude has some inconsistencies, but he's a pretty good cornerback that has done a lot of good things for the Cowboys and locked down that position for them the last couple of years. So if I had to comp a deal for Diggs, it would be the contract that J.C. Jackson recently signed. 5 years, $82 million for Jackson, who signed his contract when he was a year older than what Diggs is right now. Does Diggs deserve top cornerback money? In my opinion, no. But what he has done is comparable to a J.C. Jackson. And I think this area of his deal, and possibly even a little bit higher, is exactly what Diggs would want. And he would sign it to stay in Dallas. Yo, Headliner Nation, in the comments down below, let me know if there's anyone else I didn't discuss that you want to see get paid this offseason. Hit the like button for me on the way out, and if you're new here, you need to subscribe to the channel. Everybody stay safe and healthy, and I see y'all on the next one.